Hi, this is Johnny, and I wanted to do a video to demonstrate a difference in operation between Chief, and I'm going to use Vectorworks here because that's what I'm familiar with. Question came up about the complicated nature of doing certain tasks, simple tasks inside of Chief, and this might illustrate that. Just wanting to take this circle and mirror it across that irregular poly shape so that it sits on this edge as an exact mirror duplicate. In Vectorworks, to do this, you won't be able to see me obviously use the hotkey, but I can describe what I'm doing. I'm going to end up using this tool, which is just the equal sign. So I press one key, and I go into this mode of selecting where I want to mirror, and I'm not clicking on anything, but I pinpoint that edge, and I come back to the midpoint, which is there, and voila. So there's how I have one key, and I just highlight over those two edges because I couldn't find any straight edge to the end, but I could easily pick between 2 points and mirror kind of on the fly, and there it is. I create a perfect mirrored version of that circle on this edge. So coming over to Chief, how would this be done? Number one, I can use a command copy paste key, Control Alt C or whatever I want to set it to, which is fine. But the problem with it is then I don't get the secondary options which I need to get to this reflect about. So even if I was to use a hotkey for that first section, I couldn't use a hotkey for the second. And so let's go ahead. I have to select it, hit a hotkey, and I say reflect about, and now I've got to find a point. And even actually, sometimes even getting a center point on a single line can be challenging. Here it's not doing too bad, but I promise it can be very difficult sometimes. But no matter what I do, I'm obviously not going to find the center point between these two edges. So in this case, I'm going to have to do what I know what to do, and that is create a line. I'm basically creating a grid line. And now I've got a center point. Now I probably would end up coming in here, oops, drawing another line. There he goes. And now I could use the hotkey, and then I have to press that, and then voila. Now I've got to come back through and delete all that. So that's the process. Now somebody might know something a little faster, but you can see just Chief is not intuitive in this regard. So when I see a thread about someone having to use Revit for this kind of work, it's understandable. It's just the way it is. So Chief, it seems like it would be an easy thing to clean up, but there are a lot of steps in Chief comparatively than other apps. And if you're sitting there working 8 hours a day on a project, I promise you start to feel it. And I think that's something that Chief folks don't actually do themselves. So anyhow, that's what I got to say.